Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your girl Diamond. I am the host of Marsha's Play Podcast. I go live every Friday at 7 o'clock, and I'm going live today on Saturday because I said I would talk about the girl in the pictures and do a review and a chit chat about that show on Netflix. I hope y'all watched it um, so we can discuss it. I think it is a crazy, amazing, weird story that is pretty wild to me. So we're gonna discuss it. How are y'all doing today? Make sure if you are a returning subscriber, make sure you thumbs up as you come on in. Hey Raven, how are you? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Also, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook under Diamond Stylz, DIAMOND STYLZ as in zebra. Y'all seven needs to talk. What does that mean? Mm-mm-mm. The seven in the room. Eight now. You got to give them a chance. When you subscribe and you don't hit the notification bell, sometimes it doesn't pop up, and sometimes it does. It's shady like that. It's funny on TikTok. I have a video that's kind of getting a lot of traction, and people are on my under my video saying, "Oh my God, I remember you from YouTube. You just up and left YouTube. Why did you leave YouTube?" And I was like, "I'm still on there. What happened?" But if you do not press the notification bell when I upload new stuff, you don't get notified. So anybody who has subscribed that has not pressed the notification bell, press the notification bell, and then when I come on, you get a notification that I have uploaded or that I've gone live. Bonsoir, right? You say that? Bonsoir? Bonsoir. A bon. Bonjour. Hey Gigi. Nat. Now this is a story that we are going to be talking. This has some elements of, this is like a true crime story. So understand that we're going to be discussing a story that involves crime, um, sexual crimes, and, um, you know, just a lot of weird ass shit that goes along in this story. That's kind of wild. So, yeah. I just came from the gym, so I feel good. Mm. My arms, you see my little muscle right here showing up. Yes. Getting stronger. Mm, mm. I've been hitting that iron, and I've lost about 20 pounds. It doesn't look like it yet, but I'm just going to stay consistent to see what it looks like in a couple of months. But I've got a year membership at 24 Hour Fitness by my house, and it has been pretty good. Pretty good. I've been liking it. I've only had one creepy ass experience with a dude there. This old dude kept following me around, being weird. But other than that, the rest of the people have been really great. And yeah. we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to stay consistent. I want to get a trainer. Want to get a trainer, but before I pay for a trainer, I wanna um I wanna work on being consistent and going consistently. You get what I'm saying? Before I waste the money. At least I need to get my routine of going first, and then I'll invest in a trainer. Plus, YouTube got tons of videos of people showing you beginner stuff. So I've been looking at stuff like that, and it's been going pretty well. Um, I also changed medications. I had been on Wellbutrin, and it wasn't really doing shit. So they switched me to um, what is it called? Let me see if I can find what it's called. Mm, Stratera. They switched me to some Stratera, honey, and it's been giving me my life. I live. Mm. Did I post it in the show notes? No, I may have forgot. If I didn't, I thought I did. But let's see if we can find it. And I'll post it here. Um, Boom. Here you go. I love this one.
SkinCeuticals, the #1 medical skincare brand for a reason.
Shut up. This is the video that I like. She just showed you how to what kind of prescription is that? It is for ADHD. I didn't have a reaction to Wellbutrin. It just didn't do nothing. I felt quite normal. I didn't feel any kind of difference the way it was described. So, but the Shatera has me feeling like just really focused and really like I've had some coffee and I'm like, oh, let me do this, let me do that, let me do this, let me do this, let me do this, let me do this, which is what I needed. The problem I was having is I wasn't focused on doing things. I'll just be kind of all over the place. Like I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, but I would never finish anything. I would just start it, get distracted, start it, get distracted, start it. And so my therapist was like, have you ever been tested for ADHD? And I was like, no. And she was like, well, let's do that. And yeah, I got a diagnosis of ADHD. And it was crazy because so when I think of ADHD, because my introduction to ADHD was through my middle brother, not my youngest brother, but my middle brother, and his ADHD is a whole different experience. So the way and this is when I was younger, so I was ignorant to mental health issues, um, but with him, so it's gonna sound weird. Is this gonna sound weird? I don't know. But so my life through school, people always called me bright. I was a bright child. I was, advanced. People were trying to skip me up, those type of things. Same thing with my youngest brother. My middle brother, though, he was the one out of all three of us that was kind of I don't know. They said he had a learning disability because he had ADHD or whatever. So I always associated ADHD with people being slow. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh no, I don't have that. I'm not slow. That's as I grew up. That's what you get what I'm saying? I never thought about that being something that was associated with me because I associated it with being slow. so so in my mind, I was like, oh, that never really crossed my mind. So when my therapist said it, I was like, oh, but I don't have any kind of learning disabilities. What are you talking about? And she was like, it doesn't show up in everybody like that. And she was like, and I was like, I know, but I don't have any symptoms. I don't have any symptoms like that. So what are you talking about? There was a resistance. And she was like, so tell me, you're describing something, and it's to me, it has triggered that I think you might have ADD. So tell me what the issues that you're having. So issues that I was having was insomnia. So I would not be able to sleep. Like I would go and lay down in my bed and my brain would just go. Like I would be thinking about so much shit, like just thinking. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, what do I do? My brain would just go so many places, and I would lay down at 10 o'clock. And by the time I get actually to sleep, it'll be fucking 4 a.m, and I got to be up at 8 or 9. And so it's like, oh my god, I can't sleep. Like my brain will just go no matter how much I try. Um, then I would, like I said, I would just was your insomnia lifelong? Yes, lifelong. Like for me to sleep, I really have to wear myself out. I would be up, I would sleep for 4 hours, wake up, sleep for 4 hours. If that 3 hours, wake up. It would never be just a consistent 8 to 10 hours, nothing consistent like that, unless I was just you know what I'm saying? Unless I was just totally pooped. Like I worked out, I ran, I lifted, I cleaned, I did all these things to wear myself out. So there was that. And then so in the past I had jobs that was kind of really straightforward. Like it was not a lot of projects. It was one, I was a store manager for Bath and Body Works. And so your job coming in, um, you do payroll on Sunday. Out the week, you kind of just doing sales, you're doing the schedule, you setting the schedule up, and you know what I'm saying, cashiering. You got a sales goal, so your goal is to manage sales goal. It was really straightforward. Once a month, you kind of changing the store around to look a certain way, shifting things around, doing shipment. Very straightforward. It's not a lot of project, tons of things going on at once. It's just kind of straightforward. You have straightforward days. But recently, when I became the executive director of this nonprofit, it is more project based. So there's a lot of moving parts. It goes from writing grants to brainstorming, programming, budgeting, programming, having meetings and conversations, and having a project with this organization that you partner with, and have a project with this person. And then I got my podcast where I got to organize this, set up this interview, get the questions for the interview, make those interesting, edit the podcast, navigate the schedules of me and my co-host. So there's that. And then, stuff that I need to do with my friends and family, stuff that I need to do around the house, all these things. So it's just a bunch of stuff that I'm just free. It's not like, when I worked at Bath and Body Works, it was, honey, you go in at 9 o'clock and you leave at 5. I'm on my own schedule, so I got to do everything. Adding, I want to add some content to Instagram. I want to add some content to YouTube. I want to add some content, all these moving parts. And so I would see my brain wanting to do stuff, but I would start them and never finish them. Like, no. Like it would be no kind of finishing. So just kind of all over the place. No kind of set structure. And so when I'm telling my therapist that, I'm telling her that, I'm telling her the stuff about insomnia. She was like, "Baby, that's all. Those all are symptoms of ADD. I'll have to test you to make sure, but this is all you're naming it." And I was like, and so my resistance was because of my history with, um, you know, with thinking what ADD was. And so she was like, "I'm gonna try you. I'm gonna prescribe you some." Um, well, she can't prescribe me that because she wasn't. My therapist is not a psychiatrist. Only psychiatrists can prescribe you medicine in the way that I needed it to. So my doctor, so I told my doctor, my actual primary care physician, um, you know, what she said, and she prescribed me Wellbutrin, and that didn't do shit. So they put me on Strattera, and that has been making me feel super focused and amazing. So I feel sick. And it's one pill a day. Hey, Sing. Hey, Coco. So I've been feeling, and it also has curbed my appetite. So I haven't been hungry in a way. I've been kind of just chilling, which is one of the side effects. So that has been a good thing. So anyway, we've been on here 15 minutes. Okay, so let's start the conversation. Hey. All right, so how many of y'all have watched it? I'm talking about my medication business to y'all. But that's okay. I'm not. There's no stigma around for me. I don't care about that. It doesn't make me feel any kind of way. Okay, so has everybody watched it? So, what is your first thoughts? Tell me your first thoughts about how it goes down. Yeah, it really has helped me a lot in the past week because I just switched to this one this week. Um, yes, 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 yes. So this is about this show. It starts off. So it starts off with this girl who has been hit by a car, and she's in the hospital, and she ends up dying because she has been hit by a car. Now, what the doctors noticed is that she has old bruises on her. And so clearly she has been abused. Um, but of course, this has taken it entirely too far. Somebody has actually hit her with a car, and she actually ends up dying. So this opens up a whole thing of, yo, who ran this girl over off the road or whatever. They find out that she was actually a stripper at this club, and when they went to interview the girls that worked with her at the strip club, they they gave her a name named Tanya. But what they find out is that who they think she is actually not who she is. So this is a fake name. So they have to find out what is her real name. So it leads them down this whole fucking path of uncovering um, what's going on with this girl, and it's just every as you keep going, like within the first 15 minutes, I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" It was like, "Whoa!" And so what you learn is she is married to this dude, this older gentleman who you find out has a criminal history, and he literally has been a prison breakout. Like he broke out of prison and he has been on the run for prison for about 19 years. And first of all, look, listen, to me, not saying that this is impossible for a black person, but it is. I feel like only a white man could be this elusive to where he's free for fucking 19 years. That is the privilege of being a white man. There was so many times that they said that they almost found him, almost got him. He had a different name and da 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 da. Where people weren't even looking at him, wasn't even looking into his background to see if he would, if his name that they gave him was real. Blah blah blah. That is only going to happen with a white man. We learned this also on the case, the many faces of Billy Mulligan. Y'all remember that? Yeah, did y'all watch that on Netflix too? It was that thing about that dude with the multiple personalities, apparently, supposedly, that was raping women. Child. Only a white man could get away with so many things over and over. And even in this particular case, this man was doing things that were so freaking obvious. Like he went into a school building and kidnapped the teacher or the principal or one of the fucking school workers to find out where at the time that he did it, we thought that it was his son because the girl who got murdered, she has a 2-year-old son, 2 or 4-year-old son. I can't remember. 2-year-old son. Yeah, 2-year-old son. And he is apparently, supposedly at the time, the father. And they end up cutting when they found out that he actually had no biological relation to the child, which was a gag. They terminated the parental rights because you're not even this little boy's father. And so he takes his ass to the school and kidnaps the school person to force them to tell him where the kid was in his little foster home. This is so bold. Like, this isn't just you know what I'm saying? He ain't doing it sneaky. He going into the school and kidnap this man and tie him up to a tree, duct tape him, gag him to find out where this boy, who he says was his son, but it's not really his son. Only, that's only a white man to be this bold and people not go crazy to try to find you. You go into a school and kidnap a principal, kidnap a fucking, is it the principal? Something. It's some kind of school worker. You go into school. Imagine if a black man went into a school and kidnapped the principal to find out where this kid was. That's not even his child. That would be all over the news. Fuck an Amber Alert. That would be all over the news. It was the principal. Yes, the principal. That would be all over the news. You would not see, he would not be free. They would have an APB out in every fucking state. So he goes and kidnaps the fucking son. And the son that is not his. And so it leads down this path of finding out. So it leads detectives down this path of finding out who this girl is. And it just starts this whole unraveling of the story. So once they give you this background of what happened, they go to her and find out that they had put her picture up. And one of the girls who went to high school with her recognized her picture and was like, oh my God, that is such and such, a whole nother name, not Tanya, a whole other name. And they called. Right. They called, and they called the detectives and said, oh, we know her. Her name is da 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 da. And the detectives is like, we thought her name was Tanya. What's going on? So they went and investigated that. So then it unravels this whole other story. So they go to school with this girl. So they went to school. So she's in high school at this time. And what they learn, what they think is that this is her dad. So in this part of the story, This is a dad and a daughter scenario, not a husband and wife. This is a dad and daughter scenario. And so the high school girls and one of the gay boys in the school, they had a little clique together. They hung out and was cool. He Everybody described her as like, you just knew that she was going to grow up and be somebody. She was smart. She she even got accepted to Georgia State where she wanted to go to college. um she was just good people. People talked about how nice she was, how sweet she was, just how nice she was. And then they showed a picture of her in the yearbook. And come to find out, her father is the one who paid for this one page of her, with her picture in the yearbook. You know how usually it's a little picture, but you can pay for a little bit. Back in the day, you could pay for a little bit of the like a full page. And he chose this picture that was like an old school glamour shot picture, very sexy and grown for a high school girl, which is kind of weird. Yeah, she was accepted in I think it was Georgia State. I think it was Georgia State. I don't know about NASA program. I may not remember that, but I thought it was Georgia State. And so he just picked this picture that was a little too grown for a high schooler because it was like a sexy glamour shot picture. And for your dad to choose that picture to be put into the yearbook, everybody thought that that was weird. So Georgia Tech for aerospace engineering program. Okay, gotcha. So she was brilliant in the sense of, she was able to get into this program. Um, she was able to, she just was a good student and smart. And this is what everybody was saying. So one of her friends spent the night over her house, and I don't want to tell y'all everything so y'all can watch it. Um, Spent the night over her house, and apparently her daddy. So wait, so she gets pregnant, and her her friends is like, "Ooh, first of all, who you getting pregnant by? We didn't know you had a boyfriend. We didn't know you was messing around with nobody. What's happening? Da 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 da." Well, little do they know, her and her daddy was fucking. And so, oh, the sleepover was before she got pregnant. Okay, so let's talk about sleepover. So one of her friends sleep over her house, and apparently, and give me, I was, because so much stuff was going on. So apparently, he rapes her in front of her friend at gunpoint. Am I getting that part right? Is that how I registered the story? Because so much was going on, I wasn't for sure. My brain was taking it in. So apparently, her homegirl spend the night over her house, and he made them dress in the lingerie, and he rapes her, the girl, in front of her homegirl at gunpoint. Now, this does not make sense to me. Now, mind you, he has already been weird to this girl and her father. Like when he brings the little girl, his daughter, quote unquote, to the house of the friend, he ends up asking the daddy for some money. He don't know these people. So he's already established himself as a weird dude, like too friendly, asking for money, all this kind of stuff. But then he does this. Do you This is really bold. Like this isn't something that he's doing behind closed doors. He is raping this girl in gunpoint in front of her friend, knowing that her friend is about to go home to her parents. This is a really bold thing to do. Like this isn't something, oh, I'm sneaking. Oh, you bet not tell nobody. Oh, I'm doing it behind closed doors. Like he literally does this shit in front of somebody's child with every intention and every knowing that they're going back home to be with their parents. Now, and she says she was scared to tell, but it wasn't, she didn't say he was forced. He didn't like say you better not tell. She just said she was scared as hell. And so she didn't say nothing. I'm sitting there like, how bold did this white man have to be? Like, this is crazy. Like, this is just like so wild and crazy to me. So she gets pregnant. They don't understand how she gets pregnant because they don't know that she's not associated with no boyfriends. She's not associated. She's like, what? So apparently the girls, I can't remember how they end up finding out that this is not her dad, or I can't remember this part. I can't remember. The high school girls start getting tea. I don't know if they got it when they were older. I couldn't remember when they got it. When they got older, that now they're associating him with being her husband, when she was like, no, that's not her husband, that's her daddy. And they were like, no, that's not her daddy. She's not. She's not any kin to him at all. There's no blood relation. And the people at her school was like, like, what? We've been thinking this was her daddy this whole time, and it's not her daddy? What? And so then it goes back further. They find out after she was murdered, because from their perspective, this is her father and a daughter situation. But the people when she had got older and she was married, she died when she was 20. So I don't want to say older. She never got to be older. But she died when she was 20. By the time she was 20 and she was at the strip club with the people working at the strip club, they thought that this was her husband. But the people back in her old place, they thought that it was her father. But apparently, so they can get in these new names, they marry each other. He forced her to marry each other. So now when they move to a new place, they're husband and wife and not daughter and father. So they go further back. Before I tell that part. So let's go back to, they get to talking about the club. Okay. They get to talking about the club that she worked at. And apparently, when she started working at this place, she was pretty. They did her work, and everybody started to not like how the relationship between her and the dude and the older man, everybody who worked at the strip club, they started being like, he's kind of abusive. Like, they started looking at him like, oh, he's kind of weird. Like, is that your dad? Is that your husband? It was kind of like they weren't really for sure what was going on or whatever. But they can tell that the relationship was toxic. But she started being friends with one of the other girls that worked there. And so the other girls started hanging out with her, hanging out with the daughter, well, the wife daughter. Is her name Sharon? I think her name was Sharon. So let's call her Sharon, the daughter, this girl who was in high school getting pregnant by her father, husband, So let's call her Sharon. So Sharon started being friends with another girl, Cheryl. So Sharon started being friends with a girl that works at the strip club named Cheryl. And so she started getting close with her and her husband, aka dad. And so everybody who works at the strip club is like, we don't like this going on. In high school, the girl's name is Sharon. Yes. So we don't like how this is going. Like, this is everybody all the other girls at the strip club is like, girl, that dude is weird. Don't be hanging out with them. Like, it's getting late. Because they had moved down to Florida, yes, to Tampa. And so they like, girl, like, don't. First of all, he already weird with Sharon. But now you add into the mix and he's getting weird with you. Like he harassing her at work and all this kind of stuff. And then they have somebody who was so there was a babysitter. Was he was watching she was watching the little boy, right? I think she was watching the little boy. It's so much going on sometimes my brain is not catching everything. But apparently they had a babysitter that was watching the little boy, okay? And she came across some tapes, some videotapes and shit of Sharon and Sherry on the beach with their titties out. And she was like, what is going on? Yeah, she was a little girl at the time. She was 15. And so she had found these tapes. It's still the Mons Venus is still open down here. Wow. So it's probably super popular now because it is. And so it starts to be weird. Like Cheryl becomes missing. Okay, so the guy, let's call him, is his name Larry? Let's call him Larry. I don't know what his name was, but Larry. Let's call him Larry. So Larry, he starts being real possessive over Cheryl, Sharon's friend that works at the strip club with her. And so he would come up to the strip club and get to arguing with her. And one time one of the other girls who worked there had come out and was like, yo, leave her the fuck alone. Why are you harassing her? And he had threatened to kill her. So he drives off and blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, Cheryl doesn't come to work. Cheryl ends up missing. And next thing you know, Sharon and Larry ends up hitting it. Like they gotta leave from their trailer. But before they leave, Larry blows up the trailer. Blows up the trailer, and it says this whole trailer ablaze. So any kind of evidence of anything, whatever was in there, is gone because he blows up the trailer. His name is Floyd. Okay, let's call him Floyd. So Floyd blows up the trailer, but they end up, I don't remember how they end up arresting him, but they end up arresting him. And how did they end up finding him? They end up arresting him because Sharon was because of the boy was missing. They couldn't find the boy. Right, he had took Michael from the foster people. But they couldn't find the boy. They was looking for him because they were looking for him because Michael was missing. Remember, he boldly went and kidnapped the principal, went and took the baby boy. Now the baby boy ain't with him, so now they're like, oh, did you kill the baby boy? Where's the baby boy? Blah 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 blah. Then they find, what did they get him on? What did they get him on? Did they get him when they first locked him up, when he was cussing their ass out? First of all, when he was cussing their ass out on the news, baby, I was cracking up. He was like, fuck Oklahoma and all you motherfuckers. That part where I really need that as like a meme or like a reaction video. I thought that shit was funny as hell. When he was coming out the jail and the news was on him. It's the kidnapper charges. Okay. So now that they got him locked up, they're trying to figure out and get him to tell some type of business. He was a wanted criminal already. Plus, they got him on kidnapping with the gun. Yes. So now they got to figure out where is Cheryl? Remember, Cheryl done came up missing. Where is Michael, the little boy? Because he's missing too. Don't nobody know where his ass is at. And so They all trying to find out what's the tea, like what is happening, what's going on. But they keep asking him stuff. They keep asking him things about first he wasn't telling, but then they kept working and telling him like like trying to get him slowly but surely trying to get him to tell any kind of clue about who Sharon was, because now Sharon is dead. And so any kind of clue, they found the pictures under the truck, yes. Pictures of Cheryl and Sharon, right? Yes. They found pictures. Remember, he was taking video, probably destroyed the video when he blew up the trailer, but he kept some pictures which connected him to Cheryl and hella victims. Yes. And so the pictures was pictures of Cheryl that they found. Found pictures of Cheryl beaten up. Yes. But didn't they find her body? Her body somewhere. They found Cheryl's body somewhere and was able to connect him with her death. And so since they found her body, so basically he ain't getting out of jail. You feel what I'm saying? He ain't getting out of jail. You know what I'm saying? They got him. So he got the kidnap charges. They connected him with yeah, she was a Jane Doe. Yes, they found her body in the woods. Yes. So, but they were able to connect him with the death. And so they got him in jail. So he's not out, but they still can't solve the full murder because they don't know what's going on with Sharon and they don't know where the fuck Michael is. And he's not telling them. You know, he's going out like, fuck this, fuck the state, fuck, fuck Oklahoma City or whatever they were saying. And so he couldn't, did he say Oklahoma? I can't remember. Anyway, he did say Oklahoma, right? I keep thinking Florida, but no, he was in. First of all, he was going to multiple places: Louisiana, Alabama, Kentucky. He was taking Sharon so many different places, and so next thing you know, when he's talking to the investigators, talking to more people, they find this picture of him and a little girl. How did they connect Sharon with her old past? Not the high school past, but the past even before that, the kidnapping of her. How did they connect that? I can't remember. Y'all remember? How did not? I know how they connected the high school past because the girl recognized her picture on the news. How did they connect? He gave him a name. Didn't he give him a name? He told them her real name. That weird ass that weird ass S name, right? And he yes, that weird ass S name, Susan. They went back to the prison and gave her a name, Susan. Yes. So it was a S name, or yeah, that S name. I knew it was. I couldn't pronounce it. And so they went back and connected her name to a child that had went missing years before this, like years before this. And so then you meet these two people, these old ass, decrepit ass people. And you like, what is happening with this story? They also found Sharon's daughter. I thought they found her later. Thought they found her later on. But anyway, let me tell you about the old people. So they introduce you to these old people, and this woman, she's in the wheelchair, old as shit, and then the man. So they start talking about this family, this woman and a guy. They are high school sweethearts, and they have multiple kids, and the father of the kids end up going to war. So is it the Vietnam War or I can't remember what war he went to. So he went to war and he came back all fucked up in the head, right? So she had fell in love with somebody else because he was gone and and then he came back and was had PSD. It was like so she, they end up getting divorced. But when she gets with the dude, I guess the dude was it the dude that was abusive? She was in another situation with another dude. The other dude was whack. And so she ended up having issues to where she had to work. She wasn't being able to take care of her kids. Yeah, she wasn't be able to take care of her kids. And so she was in this church and Lloyd, a young Lloyd, pops up in the church and they connect. And he was like, I'll take care of you and the kids. And basically she's like, oh, I need somebody. And this is why like you said, fuck her mama. But part of it is like during this era of time, there wasn't a lot of options for chicks. Like it wasn't a lot of options without a man. Like it wasn't a lot of you know what I'm saying? This was one of those weird, crazy ass patriarchal times. And so it's easy on you as a woman if you got a man that's working and helping you out. But so apparently, do they end up putting her in a psychiatric hospital? I can't remember. The mama went to the social services and they told her to go to church. That was like they wasn't helping at all, which was, pretty common for an unmarried woman at the time. So they wasn't helping. Yeah. How did the kids get taken away the first time after she got with him? How did the kids get taken away? How did they get in the orphanage? Oh, yes. Gotcha. Yes, yes, yes. So she was hustling like mamas do, trying to make money. And so she gave them a fake check and they locked her up. She did get out, but they took Susan and her sisters to the orphanage. But Lloyd went and got the three girls. But when he went and got the three girls, he ended up taking two of the girls back to the orphanage, dropping them off, but keeping Susan, and then running away with Susan. And that's how he got Susan when she was a little girl. So so Sharon is Susan. So in this part of the documentary, we find out that Sharon is actually Susan, who he kidnapped from this woman he married. And she wasn't his child, but he kidnapped her when she was little, like a little five, was she 5 or 6? I can't remember. But a little girl. He kidnaps her, raised her as his daughter, then marries her by the time she get in high school, raise her as his daughter, and then marries her once she get out of high school. This is some white folks fooling this child. Ooh. They gave Sharon's dad an opportunity to get all three of them, but he said no. Dad was nuts. Dad is crazy. And so these things were really, in my mind, I was like, this shit is really bold. What he was doing was some bold ass shit. they clipped back to the stripper at the montage, and she read Sharon's mama because she had been kidnapped too. I remember that as a child, but her mama got her back after a while. Yes, but you don't know. But clearly she was in a different situation where it gets to a point where, like, what can I do? These people ain't helping. They weren't trying to help her when she did have her kids. So they definitely weren't trying to help her after. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Can you imagine being somebody who knew her and finding out what really was happening? I was gagged. Not only the situation, if you went to high school with her, you find out what's happened, what has been happening since she left high school. She married this nigga, and they was going as husband and wife, and you thought that was her dad. But then you find out the Tia before she even came to high school with you that he kidnapped her when she was a little girl. A man, this can only be a white man. Like, I just want y'all to look at how bold he has been. Literally taking the little girl and him being out of jail. Nobody investigating him. Nobody doing anything to find her, to investigate it, to just nothing. I think her guy friend was in love with her. You think? I don't think so. I thought he was gay. In high school, I thought I think he loved her in the sense of that's my Judy. That was so wild to me. So then you find out that in this whole process of time, she has had a couple of children that she has given up for adoption. Dude, are we talking Maxwell? Are we talking about the dude in high school? I think there was some innuendo that he was gay, and she was the one who accepted him, and he was able to be free. She was the one who let him know that he could be whatever he wanted to be. That's what I got from it. There was, to me, maybe I'm tripping. There was some innuendo that he was, that he was queer, and she was the one that wouldn't let people bully him and wear him out. That befriended him. Now, did you? I think she felt guilty. I think that's why she looked so much older than her first husband. Law enforcement was even worse back in the day. Floyd changing his ID from state to state definitely kept him from being off the radar. Yes. So, so the daughter, I can't remember. Did the daughter put her DNA or something in? Same thing, Maxwell. I'm surprised that all the kids. I wonder if is the third. Didn't they say it was a third one, but they just didn't find the third one? That none of the kids was his, which was wild. She did 23andMe for her birthday. And who did she connect to though? Megan was the third child and Michael was the second. And they didn't find the first, right? But neither one of them was his children. Yeah, it was so wild and so crazy. Yeah, he was pimping her out. Yes, he was. By the time she got out of high school. But even in that interview where he was talking about her, he was like Sharon was the only one that loved him. Susan was the only one who loved him. Megan connected to her biological grandfather. Yes. None of the kids was his because he had her sleeping with people, yes. But the grandma didn't want no parts. Yeah. Wow. And imagine her. And I was thinking about, is he still on death row? I thought he died. I thought Lloyd died. No, you have to do 23andMe to be in the database. So somebody has to put their, for them to match you with people, whoever they match you with has to had already be put in the database. So like me, I didn't do 23andMe, I did Ancestry DNA. So anybody who does Ancestry DNA, they will match who you connected to. Um so anybody who put their DNA. So when my brother did his, it popped up that this is either your brother. You know what I'm saying? This is your brother. They can tell if it's your brother. They can tell whatever it is. Um, if you listen to Marsha's Play, very first episode of my podcast, it's called Daddy's Lesson. It's also how I got connected with my dad because that he had already put his DNA in Ancestry and DNA, and and it basically told him that this is either your child or your father. So one of those two. And of course, I couldn't be his father. And so anybody who put their DNA, it connects you to anybody. Like, oh, like six cousin remove anybody. It tell, like, I got some white people on my list, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? How are you connected to? But it tells you all these people that you're connected to, and the percentage of genes that you have shared with them. And so what happened? So apparently, yeah, the other two sisters that didn't get kidnapped, I wonder what happened to them. Yes. So apparently he shot Michael, but they didn't never find Michael's body, right? Or did they? But he said he shot Michael in the head. And they were implying that he was going to basically turn Michael into his new little baby or whatever, which was kind of, I was like, ooh. Yeah, they never found him. But he said that he shot Michael in the head. He killed him. This story was just so wild to me. But they never found him. I think he told them where to look, but he never found him. Yeah, his foster parents was definitely mad. They definitely was sick behind it because they was like, man, we would have loved him and took care of him. But then they go back to his then they go back to Floyd's history and how I guess he had got molested too. But this speaks to just how trauma and people's weird ass fucking shit can just snowball into like a fucking disgusting ass continuation of turn of events. A boarding school. Yeah, he was given up by his mama and sent to a boarding school. And apparently he was getting molested by the boys in the school. It was just, it was like, all this shit was sad. It was just like on so many levels. That happened a lot on these boarding schools. Yeah, they basically was like prisons, child. And just how beautiful she was too. She was so pretty. Was it was kind of like, oh, not that it would have been less sad if she was ugly, but it was like, oh my god, she was so pretty and smart. She could have been, you know, what I'm saying, she could have turned out so good. Yeah, She named her son, her daughter that they found. She named her son Michael after her brother, who they never found. Yeah, she was beautiful. She looked, just her, that 80s, 90s beauty, white girl beauty. And Savakis, that's her name, Susan Marie Savakis. Wow. I had a tough time trying to grapple with situations like that. I hate that happened to him, but I don't think that as an excuse. And I think some people try to treat it that way. They try to do that with R. Kelly too. And the thing, I don't think of it as an excuse. I understand, but I don't think of it as an excuse because there's tons of people who has gotten molested and has a sexual trauma in their past and don't turn around and kidnap kids and turn around and molest kids. And there are tons of people who have gone through stuff like that that don't become monsters. So get the fuck out of here. It's no excuse. You are tired and late. Sorry that that happened to you, but motherfucker, that don't mean you grow up and do it to other motherfuckers. Because there's tons of people. It's just like, when people say, oh, they lived in an abusive home where the father was abusive to his mother. So he grew up and he abused his wife. That's all he knew. No, I know tons of guys who fucking lived in abusive homes and they didn't grow up to beat their wives. They didn't grow up to beat their partners. Get out of here. I think, let me think. How do I think about that? I think that some people have will go through, how do I explain this? How I think about this? I think some people grow into these I think certain things happen in their life that allow them to I think of Ted Bundy, I think of Jeffrey Dahmer, I think of this guy Lloyd, and these things, like when you look at their stories and how they become who they are, it's these one incidents that triggers that that gives them how do I describe that? That something happens that, ooh, I can do this. You get what I'm saying? Like, say something goes awry and, oh, I accidentally killed this motherfucker. Same thing with John Wayne Gacy. Um, did y'all watch the John Wayne Gacy tapes on Netflix? Like this one incident, I'm like, oh, the first time maybe I accidentally or I took it too far, and it just happens. And then I learned that I can do it, and it becomes this power thing, and then it just goes out of control. It just like I feel like sometimes they will be in situations that doesn't and nothing stops them. Like nothing happens, no accountability happens to where they learn that this is wrong or they have anything to happen, and so it just grows into this unhealthy relationship with death, unhealthy relationship with harm, unhealthy relationship with just doing something that's totally out of the norm. That one made me sick. That part where he killed the little Asian boy kept me up all night. He killed a little Asian boy. Are we talking about Jeffrey Dahmer? Because that's the one, the little loud boy. I don't remember John Wayne Casey. John Wayne Gacy killed a Asian boy too. I think people are the sum of their experience, and impact experience can exaggerate good or bad traits, and it can snowball. Yeah, yeah. That the Jeffrey one was sad. Especially, did you see the one on 2020? I watched it on Hulu where the black girl they interviewed a black girl that found him, and she called the police, and she said the boy had blood coming out of his booty, and the police, because he thought that they were just gay, the police just let him go back in the house with Dahmer after the black girl had told them, no, they weren't even listening to her. Like, this is a little boy. Like, and because they were like some fucking homophobic. I don't want to say homophobic. I don't know. This just some gay shit that we don't want to have to deal with. And they just let him go back in there with let him go back in there with Dahmer. That was so wild. The police came, and the boy, they thought it was just like a gay couple. When he had got out of the house with Dahmer, like he had got out of the house and had this black girl call the police. Call the police, and they did not help the boy. He lied because he had drugged the little boy. So they all had him. And instead of them doing even the slightest investigation, just because this was some gay shit, that they was like, ooh, some gay shit. And just left it alone, not knowing that the boy was kidnapped and fucking and imagine that. You fucking drugged, and you get the strength and the fortitude in your fucking brain to get out of this fucking house. You see somebody, you get what I'm saying, you still kind of drugged and foggy, you see this black girl and you like, please help me, and you trying to get her to help. She called the police, so you get relieved, like, oh my god, I'm still drugged and I can't really get my bearings about me, but at least I got out of this house and I got somebody to help me. The police come. Imagine how you're feeling. You're drugged and you're like, imagine how this is going through your brain. And then you see this nigga who kidnapped you and drugged you come and get you. And he's lying to them and telling them that you're 20 and they don't help you. And he takes you back in the house. Oh, just imagine the feeling of this little 14-year-old boy was fucking feeling. Wow. It's giving me chills. Like, just to imagine that happened. So crazy. Right. And Jeffrey Dahmer was going after mostly black dudes. Mostly black dudes at the gay bar. I was connected. The dude that got away from Dahmer, I think he was from Mississippi, and there was some way that I was connected to him. Not by like family or whatever, but one of our friends of our family was connected to him, and that's how I found out about him. And so the dude that got away from Dahmer, the black dude that got away from him, the one that ended up eventually getting him caught, um, he was from Mississippi and he was just up there visiting. And he's connected to my family, not no blood way, but connected to my family somehow. And that's how I heard about him. What was the reason he thought that they were less likely to get noticed? Didn't nobody care about gay boys, but definitely not minority gay boys. So John Wayne Gacy was picking up young boys, mostly white boys, that would, because he had a business, he had like a construction worker business, so he was hiring boys um for his job, for like summer work and shit like that, and he would kill them. He would molest them and kill them. So these were, you know what I'm saying, they were young boys too. They were, late teens, early 20s. Yes, I did hear abducted in plain sight. When the man was fucking the mama and the daddy. Yes. I think I did a video about that. I'm not 100. I think I did when it first came out a year or two ago, I think. When it first came out. I think I did a video review of that. I think, not 100% sure. But yeah, that shit was wild. But I knew he was gonna fuck the daddy. Like even before I said it jokingly to Brandon, me and Brandon was watching it together. And I said, shit, he probably was fucking the daddy. He looked like he probably gay. And I said it seriously, but I also was joking too. Baby. Then we kept watching her. Trey said that he told him to suck his dick, and he sucked his dick in the car. Baby, I cackled. I said, I told you. I knew he had the daddy too. Yeah, it's been a while though. Yeah, I suspected because the way the dad was acting in like a fucking 1950s, 60s queer. Like it's a certain way that the older white men who were queer used to act, and he was giving me all of that. The ones that be having wives and shit. He was giving me all of that, and I was like, he probably fucking the daddy too. And boom, lo and behold, he was messing with the daddy. He would dress up as a clown and entertain the kids' party. There's a picture. It's terrifying. Yeah, yeah, he was, but he wasn't. He was killing his workers. It was people who worked for him. Yeah, he was like a clown, a kids' party clown. But he wasn't really doing kids. They were kids, but not like kids, like those party kids. No. He was giving the dad from Brady Bunch. Yeah, that shit. All that shit was. These motherfucking cases was wild, man. Just that double life is terrifying. And just how you don't know. And then if y'all watch the John Wayne Gacy story, do y'all remember when the older dude was telling apparently this was like his very first victim, and he had pulled the gun or knife out on him. Was it the gun? And he And he was like, he didn't tell anybody because he was so embarrassed. That was really sad to me too. The older gentleman that was, he has older now, but he was telling his story about how John John Wayne Gacy kind of he was embarrassed by the whole thing with him, and he didn't tell anybody that it happened. And I was like, this is the problem. This is one of the problems. This is why you gotta tell motherfuckers, because that could have stopped so many victims. But I understand he was a kid, so he was like, I didn't want to fucking tell people that he had threatened to um, do stuff to me. That was wild. So wild. But yes, the girl in the pictures ended with him. I thought he got killed. Didn't they execute him? Or is he still in prison? Didn't he already die or something? I thought he already died. Let me see. The first time that Lloyd had got locked up, when he escaped prison, he had got charged with kidnapping a 4-year-old girl and molesting her. That's how he was in jail the first time that he got out and was free for fucking 19 years. And then he had a robbery. He had got This is what I'm talking about. Like, you do all this bullshit, then you do he does the robbery in Macon, Georgia. Like, he was doing shit that was so bold for somebody to be on the run. He was doing shit that was so bold. He was caught by the police and convicted of that robbery and returned to prison. And then he was released a decade later in 1972. And then he committed another crime when he sexually assaulted a woman in 73, and he was arrested and made bail and went and didn't go back to jail. And so he started going, instead of going back to jail, he started changing. That's when he started changing his name in 72. Oh, so the biological brother, they had a brother of the kids, the two kids. I'm reading this. The biological brother had remained a missing person until 2019, and he came forward in 2019 and took DNA tests and confirmed that he was Philip Savakis, the brother, one of the boys. So so apparently it wasn't two girls, it was a girl and a boy. It was two girls and a boy. And Susan was one of the girls, and he dropped the other two off. And one of them was a boy, Philip. I thought it was three girls too. But here it was saying a boy, he came, unless it was just another boy, but it's saying it was he came forward in 2019. But he was the younger brother. No, he hasn't died yet. So no, Floyd is not dead yet. He still lives on death row in Union Correctional Institute in Florida. he's 79 years old. In 2001 of Cheryl's murder, the judge ruled that he was mentally incompetent to stand trial and ordered another mental assessment. Floyd refused to undergo another evaluation, and he said that he was fit to stand trial. And the trial began in 2002, and he was convicted and ultimately sentenced to death. Okay. Well, let's see. Did he end up dying? Yeah, he's still alive. He's still alive. Sharon was the oldest. Yes. Wow. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. But that's just wild to me. Wow, 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 wow. Have y'all watched The Keepers? The Keepers on Netflix about the Catholic Church and them killing that nun. That nun, did she come up missing, or I can't remember exactly what that one was. I don't always feel like it's mental illness. I don't always feel like that at all. Yeah, we talked about our fathers already. Our fathers was good. We talked about that. Yeah, I think some people. I don't think they're crazy at all. I just think that some of them I think is crazy, but then some of them I think that like I said, something happens and they just go too far. Like, oh, I can kill this person, whether it be like I killed an animal, I killed a dog, I've killed something, and then I keep going further, keep going further, and it becomes a thing for them. Not, I don't think they're all mentally. It becomes like a hobby, I guess. Yeah, we did. We already did a keep sweet and obey video live about that, and the Mormon one, like an addiction or something. Yeah, yeah. I think part sometimes it's an addiction. It's like it's like sexuality. You know how everybody's, how do I explain this? Like everybody has what turns you on, like whatever's your quote unquote kink. That's not necessarily a kink, but everybody has certain things, certain scenarios, certain ways that you like to talk to them during sex that kind of really arouses them. And everybody is different. So some people like maybe like to be dominated. Some people's sexualities may be based in dominance and submission. Me personally, my sexuality is not based in dominant and submission. So I'm not somebody who wants to be like, um, oh yeah, daddy, fuck me, daddy. I'm not that. Or yeah, let me beat that pussy up, bitch. I'm not somebody who's into dominance and submission. That's not what turns me on. Um, but some people have certain type of kink that they found or that they got into that that is just their erotic, and I'm not talking about no weird stuff, just some normal stuff. Like if this is what turns me on as a person. And we're not talking about um you know, any kind of illegal molesting stuff, just regular shit. Like, oh, I like when a dude stuffs his dick in my mouth um and makes tears come to my eyes. That dominance, him just fucking my mouth and my throat and using me like that, ooh, turns me on. You know, we talk about consensual shit like that. That scenario, okay, of a dude just kind of fucking your throat and using you and slutting you out. Um, Something happened that type of being dominated, being slutted out, turned you on and became a part of your kink. You see what I'm saying? Something happened to you. Not, we're not talking about deviant. Um, I'm talking about something not deviant, but just something, it may be, I don't know, like something normal, not killing people or molesting or raping. No, like something normal. Like it's a part of your, it has become a part of your kink. Or what else? You get what I'm saying? Something outside of vanilla. Something outside of vanilla. You get what I'm saying? You got something that's just your kink. That's just your. I'm trying to think of. So everybody, if you're listening, um, put something that you think in the chat box. Put something that turns you on, that you think that is not normal. Like something that like, oh, you love for your partner to do something legal and but that you think is kinky to you. Some little small thing that, ooh, this really turns me on when a dude does this, or a girl, whoever you date. What is what is your what is your little idiosyncratic sexual thing? So for me to be spanked, choked, ear nibbling, okay. I like my hair pulled when he's hitting it from the back, but not too hard. Right, just a little firm, like wham, 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 wham. Not hard enough to hurt you, but just a little firm. But I don't think it's super weird. Yeah, it don't need to be weird. Just something that maybe um, it might be not weird, but everybody may not be into that particular thing. I like wearing heels during, okay, heels make you feel sexy. You might have associated heels with being sexy. instead of being barefoot. Um, so me, I like a little biting on the neck and nipples. I like to hear my stuff clap. So that sound, that auditory sound of you hearing something clap, that sound turns you on. Threatening sexual stuff, despite me not enjoying pain or being forced. The threats, the words, cursing like that, right? So you those the threats, not the actual force or pain of it, but the threats, the words, the verbal stimulation of saying it is associated with arousal for you. Makes sense? I know dudes like that. I know dudes who um they want you to talk nasty about them coming in you. Like they want to talk about taking the condom off, but they don't want to take the condom off. You see what I'm saying? They want to talk nasty about taking the condom off because that's sexy, but and busting cream pie in your booty hole and all that kind of stuff, but they don't really want to take the condom off. Or a dude is fucking you with a condom and he was like, and he wants you to say, bust in me, daddy, bust in me, daddy. He don't really want to bust in you because he's not about to take the condom off, but he wants you to say it. Yes, come in me. He wants to hear you say, come in me. I like being dominated, handcuffs, melted candles, epithets. Mm. So I am a combination. It helps builds the imagery. Yes, I am a combination of um mm, how do I explain that? I don't know. So my stuff isn't if there's anything rooted in submissive and dominance, I like men who are aggressively submissive. Let me explain that. So I like men who pursue you aggressively and they do the submissive stuff aggressively. So if they bottom, they not just bent over letting you fuck them. They throwing ass back on you. They sound like a man. I don't like you to sound like a bitch. I don't like you to be like, oh yeah, fuck me. No, I like you to sound like a man, saying man shit, but you doing bottom shit. Does that make sense? So you aggressively doing submissive shit. Like when you sucking a dick, like you being not aggressive, like not like that. I'm talking about like hell yeah, you like how I suck this motherfucker. Like I like dudes to be dudes doing submissive stuff. Does it make sense? You're being aggressive, but you're doing things that you associate with being submissive. So sucking dick, getting fucked, but you're doing it in a very masculine way. And um, I'm also turned on by the power the power of being able to get somebody uncontrollably aroused. Like, like, um, like say, this is creepy, but it will turn me on to the point that I'll be thinking about it all day. So say somebody on the train or on the bus, somebody, a stranger. That's interesting. It is rare to find. It is rare to find. It is. That's why it's hard for me to find somebody that I have chemistry with, because it's hard to find. Usually, a dude who is aggressive wants to do aggressive shit, or usually, I don't want to say rare. I can find it, but it's not common. There's enough to where I got my people. um, but anyway, so say that I'm on a train or on a bus or like on a bus stop or somewhere in public, and a fine ass dude. It can't. This doesn't work with uglies. It could work with ugly if that dick is big. But let me explain it. Say a dude, average, handsome, or average, or ugly with a big ass dick, sits next to me, and he's having general conversation, and he just come out and say, he was like, look, and he looked down at his dick, and it's rock hard, and he's telling me, I don't know what it is about you, but you get my dick so fucking hard, and I can't control it. Do you know? I would say, oh boy, get out of my face. Like my immediate reaction would be that, because this is creepy that you're doing this. But for the rest of the day, that would turn me the fuck on, because I'm turned on by the idea that I have that physical power to arouse you to that level where you will go against cultural norms to be able to tell me that I turned you on this much. Now, my cultural reaction would be, oh my God, why would you do this? Da, 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 da. But for the rest of the day, because I know this because I've been in this situation. For the rest of the day, I will be thinking about, what if I would have acted a different way? What if I played into it? Or what if you get what I'm saying? And it would get me aroused for the rest of the day. It's probably hard to find straight guys like that, since primarily it's straight guys that straight women be. A lot of gay boys do that in bed, aggro bottoms. So in my experience, this is two boys that usually fit what I'm talking about, Chris. So if you go in the straight category, usually straight men who are very attractive, that always have women that throw themselves on them, who have no issues with getting women, that just is like, for their whole life, women have been chasing them. Usually men like that, who are just that kind of man, they get bored. That's the best way I can describe it. That they never have anything to chase, because anybody who they want, they can have. That, because most girls are attracted to them. Usually, dudes like that, I usually get them because they can, and they find the girls that they be having is willing to do whatever they want, and they usually want them to do they'll just do whatever they want with them. And so when they get with me, I'm in a situation where I can allow them to be more submissive and try some new shit. I've had a bunch of boys like that where it's like they want to be treated like the chaser instead of the getting chased. Tons of boys like that. Tons of boys like that where they are always getting chased by women. Like it's never, you know, it's never a, I'm the chaser. Because even the fine girls who feel they still it's easy for them to pull them because they find dudes in sex work. Yes, they do exist, but not many in my vanilla life. And so that's on the straight side. Now let's go to the gay boy side. So I'm on Jacked, and definitely when I got on Jacked and other queer apps, you find a lot of these. So you have gay boys who just like dick. It does not matter who the dick is attached to. If I'm horny and I want to have some fun, it does not matter who the dick is attached to. If it's a nice dick, I want to have you. And especially if they like to suck dick and they really oral and that turns them on and they want to be slutted out, it doesn't really matter who the dick is attached to. And I meet a bunch of gay boys like that where on Jacked. And so they'll hit me up. They might not hit me up. They might not try to holler at me like if I'm out at a gay club, they might not do that because it's almost like some stigma that comes with if a gay boy likes a trans woman. So it's weird. They kind of might not say it publicly. It's kind of weird and shady. I don't know. I don't want to say shady, but kind of weird that they don't try to holler at you in public. But they'll get on Jack and hit you up some late night creep and be like, what's up? What's up with that dick? And then, you know what I'm saying? They will slide you some pics. They will send you some ass pics. They'll send you whatever they kind of into that they think you might be into. They will hit you up, especially if you got a nice piece. And so they'll hit you up and honey, they come and they'll have. I done had so many butch queens. And my thing is, long as you ain't coming, when you come through my door, you ain't giving me this thing and you look fine. Now, if you come through my door and you're giving me, hi, I'll probably go put your ass out. But if you come in and you just giving me trade, I don't even think about it. I don't really be asking them questions like that. But also on my profiles, I'm very, very direct about what I expect. And so when you lay the foundation of what you expect, it kind of it gives the parameters to see if they can deal with it. For example, like when I'm on my Jack profile, I'm very, very clear. I'm just trying to get some head. I'm trying to get my dick sucked. Period. I'm not trying to suck no dick. I'm not trying to fuck no ass. I'm not trying to do none of that. I want to get some head. So if you want a pretty ass dick to suck, what's up? It's very clear on my page. And so if you're a person who like to suck dick, it's like, oh, and it's late night, you ain't found you a butch queen to hook up with. Here go Miss Tillman. Let's see what you can do. I get that all the time. I went to Dallas the other day, and this happened to me. Day before yesterday. He was so fine. Jesus, he was fine. He came in, and I was like, because he was still playing on his little down low shit and trying to hide his little pictures. Um, but when he came in, baby, that nigga was so fine, so fine. Most of the trans girls I've met are tops. I am not a top. I will, like I will top. I don't mind some good cakes if they good and fat. But I like to top certain. First of all, you gotta have a certain type of ass for me to want to top you. You gotta have the ass that just says, "I got to eat it. I got to eat it. I got to stick it. I got to do whatever I want with it." Those types of asses, it's just some asses that look like, "Oh my god, I want that one." It's a certain type of ass. It can't be. It ain't anybody ass that I wanna plunge, but it has to be a certain type of ass. So that's first and foremost. Um, but I also do not like if you got a late little piece. You is not, I hate little dick ass tops. If you got a late little piece, you is not topping me, boy. You is getting topped. If your piece is late, baby, you is not getting up in my cakes. You gotta have peace to get up in mama's cakes, baby. So if especially if you a late little piece light skinned boy with a big booty, baby, you is only getting pounded. You is not getting up in my cakes, baby. I don't mind short tops if they dick is big. Short tops with big old dicks kind of turn me on. I love getting on top of them and riding them because their body is so smaller than mine. Because um, I'm thick and I'm tall. I'm like 5'11", and so getting like a big dick, 5'6", 5'7" dude with a big old dick, and me getting on that dick, damn, it makes me feel like I'm smushing them. Wham, wham, wham. Ah, I live. I really don't be having good sessions with super tall boys. Super tall boys feel it. It feels sexy because they're such a big man, but the session don't be really that sickening. If I'm to be honest, sometimes, very very rarely, sometimes, but good dick is between, in my experience, between 5'10" and 5'8". That's where the good dick lies. I should have went to Charlotte so I could pull some cues at that convention. I love her. Cues be freaky, but sometimes they be whack. I guess that goes to say it's always a unique experience when you meet a dude. I don't know. It just depends. Just depends. But I say all of that to say this. The reason why I had y'all tell me what y'all were into is because whatever you are into, something sparked that. There was either an experience or something that made that thing turn you on, and you learned that, that's really, I like when they do that. Something happened in your past that made that scenario erotic to you. And so you you want to repeat it. It could be you watching a porn, it could be something happened with somebody you was with, and it was like, ooh, that really turned me on. That was really sexy. And you're kind of finding that you want to have that moment again. Something made that thing, whatever you are turned on by, or whether it be how they're talking, what they're doing, da 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 da. Something made that erotic to you. something. And I think when we get into it, could be you experimenting with a butch queen. Yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything. It could be literally anything. Anything can um, make something erotic. And yes, your tastes do fluctuate. Yeah, your tastes definitely do fluctuate. Because I be having, like I said, I've talked about this before. I be having, moments where I want to eat some pussy, or I imagine eating some pussy, but I never have. But there's been moments where I'm like, this would be sexy, especially when I see like porns with like amateur porns with bi situations, like two dudes, and one of the dudes is sucking the dick while while the dick is going in and out the pussy, and it's he's sucking it and putting it back in the pussy. Shit like that turns me on. He kind of like bi sex scenes, be like, this is hot. Or he's eating her click and sucking her click while the dude is fucking her. Shit like that. Anything like that would be hot. But it's always anytime I imagine it, it's always with a dude. It's never like just me and them. It's never just me and a chick. It's never like that. I can see it happening but she would have to be more of an aggressor. She would have to and not aggressive. You can't be. It has to be an aggressiveness that's very particular. Um, I don't like women who act like dudes, but they need to pursue me. I'm never gonna pursue them ever. No. Oh, I definitely don't fantasize about a sex change. Come on, the Mercedes experience. Yeah. Mm-mm. On my TikTok, I recently share a story about the first time I was in like a threesome with a cisgender girl. When we were all in high school and I was like 17. And what was turning me on was that everybody in the situation was turned on. I'm turned on by how turned on everybody else is. Like I get the energy that I'm getting from the person is what turns me on. Like if you acting out like dudes who act like nonchalant, like I'm not like they not into me or they not into the scenario, baby, that's the quickest way for me to get you to get sent out of my house. Like a dude who don't make no noise or who don't give me any kind of feedback, baby, I will stop a session so quick. Oh, baby, if you're not feeling it, let's go. Let's be done with this. I need to get somebody over here who is feeling it. And then they'll be like, "Oh, I'm feeling it. I just don't be." They feel embarrassed to make some noise or embarrassed to say something. Like if you, I'm a reactionary person. If you giving me the energy back, then I'm gonna give you. That's gonna make me get into it more. But if you just sitting there laying down being stupid, girl, get out of here. Get out. I need you to respond. I need you to engage. And I don't like disrespectful, dirty talk either. That turns me off. Like calling me bitches and sluts and whores and nasty slut. I'm not into that. Yeah, I don't like anything disrespectful. Like I don't like nothing like that. That doesn't turn me on. It actually throws my brain off. I need you to be affirming. I need you to be like super nasty and affirming. Like, damn, you sucking the fuck out of this dude. Damn, this ass feels so good. Just something that's nasty but affirming. Calling me bitches and sluts and shit, that's not sexy to me. Tell me how I'm making you feel. Okay, I'm okay with a little degradation. Yeah, totally not me. Totally not. Who the fuck are you talking to? It just it throws me off. Throws me off. Mm-mm. Be like, sweetie. Mm. But yeah, I think just like we just normal and we doing stuff consensually. I think that sometimes those crazy killer, rapey, molester motherfuckers that for whatever reason their life has turned that theme, that gross deviant thing, into something that just turns them on. The power of rape, the power of it, of taking it, your struggle, that stuff just turns them on. And so they get addicted to that thrill. I have a friend with benefit that likes to be called a faggot when I talk to him. It's hot in the heat of the moment. Yeah, I laugh because when I think friend with benefits, when I talk to dudes think benefits is the actual sex. But that's when I think friends with benefits, I think money. The benefit is money. So anytime I'm saying friends with benefits, the benefit is coins. But sometimes dudes, when they talking to you, they think friends with benefits means friends, but the benefits is the sex. No, that's not no benefit to me. No, thank you. I think it's different with two men because the element of misogyny doesn't exist. I would have to disagree with that. I think the element of misogyny is still there. That you see that a lot when you, especially with gay men, when they talking about no fats, no femmes, um, when they have the idea of you being the submissive and you being them being one being the dominant. That I'm not the bitch in the relationship. There's tons of all of that is rooted in misogyny. Who's the girl, who's the boy. Anytime they have those kind of rooted things, the that's connected to misogyny of who, what role, they're supposed to play. I think it's still maybe not directly, but I think it still is connected to those gender rules. Not all the time, but I think those gender rules, especially when you have those people who adhering to those. But can you really exert misogyny over another man? Yes. If he thinks of you as a femme, if he thinks of you as a femme and he's fucking you and wants you to submit to him because you are the girl in his brain, you are the one in the girl position because you're getting fucked. That is because he's associating you with how he thinks the submissive, the woman, the girl in the relationship should be portrayed and treated. So his misogynistic ideals is just being transferred to you as the bottom, as the submissive, as the faggot. He's treating you like he would a woman. And I think there's a lot of men who mess around so they can be free to treat you like that. Mm, It really just depends on their mind. Because if they're bottoming because they feel like they want to be the girl, it's still rooted in misogyny. You see what I'm saying? Is I want to be treated like the woman. So I'm letting you top me all aggressive and all la 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 because I want to feel like fish. It just depends on how they are thinking about it. It really is how they are mentally processing what they are doing. But misogyny definitely can be a part of it. I'm not saying that it's always that, but there's tons of dudes who, because they are associating the submissiveness with womanhood and fishness, femness, it's the motivations of what they're doing. Yeah, why they're doing it. Oh, Ricardo is you far in the back. I done been stuck. That was in the beginning when I was talking about Fratera. But Fratera doesn't have any addictive qualities. I don't want to take nothing that is addictive, like Adderall or I don't know what Vyvanse is. I don't know what that is. Mm, mm, yes, child. Yeah, just I think in those scenarios to determine whether misogyny is coming into play, it depends on their motivations of doing it. Not saying that everybody is that way, but if I'm bottoming because I associate bottom with being the female, being the girl, being the woman of the relationship, all that is rooted in the ideals of womanhood, the ideals of manhood, submissive, dominance, misogyny, patriarchy. All that stuff is rooted in that. And there's a lot of dudes who I think, particularly straight boys, and I'm using straight loosely, particularly straight boys. I see a lot of straight boys who one of the reasons why they come over to the other side and play is because it's easy. They don't have to deal with the cultural stuff that comes with getting a woman to have sex. If you come over here, honey, they got the glory holes, they got the you know what I'm saying? They got everything to make getting your nut easy. And if somebody over here is ready and willing without the whining and the dining and the emotional labor that may come with you trying to get a woman's pussy. Where over on this side, it's just an easy nut. And if they know how to switch that off, the idea of, you know, The idea of this is just a this is just a nut. I ain't even thinking about it is in the sense of gay sex, even though technically I know it is, but I'm just trying to get a nut. I think there's tons of gay boys like that. Tons of straight boys that play in the waters of gay sex, which, technically to me that makes them bi. But they'll play in the waters over here because it's easy. And I can get a nut. I can let them suck my dick. Maybe they may not fuck. And they'll have all these different, you'll meet dudes, and this is kind of spilling tea to women who are listening, but you'll meet dudes that have these different rules in their mind. That'll be like, oh, one of them would be like, if I fuck a dude, then that's crossing the line because then that's gay. But if I'm just getting my dick sucked, then a mouth is a mouth. I can just close my eyes and get my dick sucked. And so they'll have these different, so that'll be one scenario. One dude of his brain to think like that. If I fuck a dude, that goes too far. But if I'm just getting my dick sucked, that ain't nothing. Or you could do a dude to be like, oh, if I'm being the top, if I'm the one who's fucking him, nah, that ain't gay either. I can just I cut the lights off. You got a fat ass booty, boom. Because a booty hole is a booty hole. Girl booty hole, boy booty hole, da 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 da. So I can just, as long as I'm banging and I'm not getting fucked, that's not gay. Their mindset to think like that. Or, so that's with the gay boys. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, they'll think that, oh, that when it comes to the trans stuff, because you look like a girl, that makes it okay too. You look exactly like a girl. So anything that I do with you, it's because I'm still getting the visual of a woman. Oh, that's not gay. They go through these negotiations in their mind, and they still can play the game of if I'm topping, if I'm bottoming, all that kind of stuff. They go through these negotiations in their mind to get access to the sexual pleasure. And so they literally can be doing things that you and them in the back of their head and they know you would think, if you're a cis woman, you would think that is gay, or somebody would think that is gay. But in their brain, they're negotiating and compromising those ideals. If it only happened once, it's not gay. Oh no, child. I also have had dudes, particularly when I was in college, who at the time they had never messed around before, but just talking about it turned them on. And so they'll talk about it and then go fuck some bitches. But that's another thing, Chris. I think it depends. For me, it depends on your motivation and how he thinks about it. Because if you are having sex with me as a trans woman and you meet me, you see my fish, I'm a woman to you, and you can't think of me as anything else, and you like, fuck it, like I know you told me about your past, but I can't think of you of anything else. You're a woman to me, so let's do it. I think those type of men are straight. But if you're the type of man that says, I don't really want to be with a dude, but I'm curious about it. But you look like a girl, so I can try to do stuff with you because that makes it okay. I think those men are gay because they're using me to explore their homosexuality. So for me, it's the motivations behind why you are dealing with me. Their own motivations, not me. Their own motivations. If you think of me as a dude, as the next thing up or the closest thing to, and you want to explore with a dude, but you use me because I'm at least dressed up like a girl to you. I think those men are gay. They just don't have the courage to be with a regular dude. Yes, definitely bisexual. Definitely, at the very least. But even that, if you are, if in a perfect world you would only be with dudes, yeah, you fuck fish, but in a perfect world, you would only be with dudes. If homophobia didn't exist and you can just freely do what you want to do and you would only be with dudes, I think you're gay. But because homophobia exists and you scared and you don't want to be open, so you just deal with fish because uh, this is what I'm supposed to do. But this ain't really what I would do in a free world. I would really be with niggas because I live for niggas. I think you gay. You just are doing this because this is what the culture says you're supposed to do. But if you like women just as much as you like men, yeah, bisexual. It for me, it's all about what their brain is, how their brain is processing what they are doing. If you are with me because you think I'm just a different type of homosexuality, a different type of dude, a souped up dude, a dude with tits, da 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 da. If that's how you think of me, I think you're bisexual or gay. But if you are a dude who's like, I think of you as a girl, just a different type of girl. I know your history, but I think of you as a girl. I'm not even going to even go deep into thought. You're a girl to me, so how can we make this work? I think those dudes are straight. And that could just be me um, um, compromising. You know what I'm saying? Making excuses or trying to twist my own identity with the world. That could be. I'm not against. Could be, but I'm just explaining it how I explain it. So you have to discover that over time with a guy. I usually don't. I can tell by having a conversation with them. Usually, you can tell their motivations. Just ask them a couple of questions. You don't have to be over time, especially if you asking them shit like, tell me about the first time you messed around. How did you engage? And usually, based on how they talk about it, you can tell what type of dude they are. It's easy. It's about the questions that you ask them. Mm, but everybody's it's always about motivation for me. It's never about it's never cut and dry like genitalia or identity, da da da. It's all for me, it's always about why are you participating in this? Why are you doing this? And sometimes their skills give it away. Um, Sometimes. I also think that sometimes the shape of people's mouths, bear with me. I think sometimes the shape and the, how they naturally might think of how they would like their dick sucked and they suck it that way. I think some people are just skilled enough naturally. I think there's some people, because there's some people I believe that I was the first time doing it, but how their mouth was shaped, how they imagined it's supposed to be done and they performed it was just automatically good because how their mouth was shaped, how they did it, how they got into it. It was just good. It wasn't necessarily because, oh, I've gobbled so many pieces. I just know how to do it. I think sometimes, I think some people imagine how it's supposed to be done and do it right. Especially depending on how your piece is shaped, how you like your head, how their mouth is shaped, all that kind of stuff. Yes, I think a man might have a better idea about how to give oral because they know exactly what it should feel like. Absolutely. I think that's totally true. That doesn't mean automatically that they know how to suck dick, but I um I think the basic of it, um, they they'll they'll go with what they think what feels good to them, which is not always good because how you like your dick sucked maybe not how I like my dick sucked. Um, um, I have a friend, my friend Pat. He doesn't like fast head. So if you just like, he ain't never gonna nut. But if you slow it down and give him like a wham, a slow suck, he'll come like that because he likes head like at a slow speed. For some reason, on his particular dick, the slowness of your head is intense to him. It's like, oh shit, and he'll nut super fast. Like you ain't going. Most people think, oh, if I go fast, I'll make you nut fast. But with him, that's not how his dick works. If I want to make him nut, I'll suck it slow, and he's gonna come like that. If I don't want him to nut fast, I speed it up. It's still gonna feel good to him, but the more speed, the longer it's gonna take him to nut. And then you got the opposite people who, if you do go fast, they're gonna nut fast. It's gonna be the opposite. And then there's some people who wetness. I thought that wetness was good all around. Like I thought because I had never met a dude who didn't like sloppy wet head. So I always thought giving sloppy wet head was the best way to do it. One which on average, most dudes like that. It's nasty to them, it's slick, it's wet. They usually like it. But I met this dude and I was giving him head, and he literally pushed my head off of him, took his t-shirt and wiped the spit off. He was like, I don't like that. When I tell you I was gagged, I had never experienced that in my life. Usually, dude like nasty shit like that. They like it to be wet and sloppy and all that. Usually, do, but him, he was like, I don't like all that spit. That's gross to me. Literally pushed my head off of his dick and took his shirt and wiped the spit off. This is when I was like 26. I think I was in Mississippi. Now nobody has ever done that to me except for him. But um but that's what happened. I was sucking his dick on the hood of his car. We had drove somewhere and we had got all erotic and got out the car, and I pushed him down on the hood because he was being all aggressive. But I don't like dudes be all aggressive because that make me feel like you dominated me. So you know what I'm saying? So I had flipped the script on him and put him on the hood and unzipped his pants and pulled his dick out and started sucking it. And it was all sexy and erotic to me. But when it was getting too wet, baby, he said, he said, no, that is not my tea, girl. Ugh. It was like the spit disgusted him. He was like, I like you to do it drier than that. I was like, who wants some dry ass head? Who wants that? Ugh. And really, it made me feel very awkward because who wants to give dry ass head? Like, what? How do I switch to go from the normal way I give head, which is wet and tight and you know what I'm saying, to fucking how do you even make your mouth dry? Like I couldn't comprehend it. So I never hooked up with him again. Cause I'm like, I'll do what you want me to do because I ain't trying to give nobody no dry ass head. Yuck. I can usually tell because it takes me forever to finish. So you gotta have that stamina. First time I usually don't have that. First timers usually don't have that. Well, I so first of all, usually when I'm in a situation with somebody, I don't do anything to them until they make me nut. So that's number one. So anytime I'm hooking up with somebody and it's just a hookup, I'm not doing nothing to your penis or nothing to make you feel good until you make me nut. And so when you have that kind of rule, their stamina goes as long as you go. Because they want to nut. They will suck for hours and hours and until I tell you how to do it, until you do it right. But I'm also very clear about how I like it. And when they're doing something good, I'm very clear that if you want me to nut, that's gonna make me nut. Keep doing that. Yeah, I don't want to say I felt embarrassed, but I did feel like, what? I had never, I had never asked, but I had never had somebody complain about um, my head being too wet. Never had that. Always was something that they raved about. So I had never experienced that. My ex-husband, he used to say I used too much lube where my ass was too wet, and it'll make. But and he said it'll make him come too fast if it's lubed and wet like that, because he used to have a problem with coming too fast. But I'm like, nigga, I ain't never had nobody complain about my ass being too wet. Nigga, you just come fast because it don't matter if it's wet or not. You come fast. So, child, that's just you making excuses. Nigga, you just come in 2 minutes. Mm. Who wants some dry buns? I don't. I don't. I know. I know. So I don't know. I uh, I know what his tea was. His tea was he wanted to make. I was complaining about him coming too fast, and so his excuse was my ass was too wet. Nigga, fuck out of here. You just ain't got no. You just ain't got no stamina. Hot and buttered, baby. Ready, ready to be entered, baby. Yeah. And then I fuck with people for different reasons. Like I got this he done got a little too big for my taste, so I don't mess with him no more. When I met him, and this is it's no shade, but if we hooking up, it gotta be what it is. But we both gained weight, child, since the time that we first started hooking up. But for my own personal taste, he just got too big. And it just started and it stopped being he just stopped having things that I was turned on by. So my least attractive person, like if I was to describe somebody that is totally not my type, it would be a plus size light skinned boy with a little dick. Like none of that is things that I like. I like dark skinned men. Now if you light skinned but got a sickening body and a big ass dick, I'll be into you. But if you don't have a body that I like, you don't have a big dick, you don't have a big booty, or you don't have anything, you just big and your dick is little and you light skinned, I'm probably not gonna be into you at all. Like it's gonna, you're just not my type at all. There's nothing about you that I like. And so when I met him, what was fire about him when I met him is that he had a bubble butt. Like that ass was like, oh, it just was, it just you like Drewski. Who is Drewski? I don't know who that is. Um Anything light skin, thick, I don't like that at all. That's not, it reminds me of me. A boy version of me? No. No. No, no, thank you. I like the opposite of me. um, but he was short. He didn't have no piece, but he was cute. He was like he had a cute ass face and he had a big old butt. So I love his cakes. I would just be in them things. Like, his cakes was so fire. He was a short dude, but he got just big old cakes. And so I just would love to top him. It would turn me the fuck on. He just was so right. But then over the years, he just started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it stopped being fat booty and started to be wide and ill built looking, and it just stopped being so not only do you not have no peace, now your body is turning into not what I like, not sexy to me. And no. Now his head was immaculate, so I still be tempted to get some hair from him because the head used to be. It was just something about his mouth that just felt like it was created for my piece. Soon as it would go in, it would be like, "Oh Lord, woo, Jesus!" Like his head just was like just right, right. And so his cakes and head, but it just started to be like I stopped dealing with him because the shape was giving me no. It was giving me no. And then did you see the interview of Orlando Brown saying Bow Wow had good pussy? I did. I thought that was funny. Um, then I have this young dude. He's like 26. He like 26. And look, not buff like super buff, but like he hit the gym and he got a nice little body. He just got just this chocolatey bubble butt, and he's always clean. Like, his body is always clean and fresh. Like he's just one of them dudes that every time they come over, it's like he just hopped out of the shower and smells so good. Like cakes is just ready to eat, and he moisturizes, and it's just ooh, and He just likes to get pounded, and it's just something about him. But then I have another dude that I don't like fucking him at all. He likes to be fucked, but I don't like fucking him at all. And he's this big buff ass nigga, and he got a nice body, but I don't like fucking him. Cause first of all, he turned into a bitch. He be all tooted up, all feminine. He get just moaning and shit like a bitch. I had to block him. He was still hitting me up, asking me why we don't hook up no more. I'm like, you want to you want to turn into honey Mercedes. Soon as we get to heaven, you turn into Pinky Honey instead of still being betrayed. No, thank you. Mm-mm. But then my other dude, the other young dude, hmm he's just perfect. He's just like he still give you boy. He still give you everything you need. Yeah, I still have them, but I still had them during a couple of times. But then it started turning me off too much, so I had to stop fucking with him and start ignoring his messages unless I was just super horny. But then it got to a point where I already had my roster filled up, so I didn't need to fuck with him no more. So I stopped fucking with him. Start being like, no, thank you. No, thank you, baby. Then I have we're about the same age. I think a little bit younger than me. I think he's like 39. I'm 41. He's like 39. And honey, all he does is come over just to give me head. We don't do nothing else. All he does is give me head for like 2 hours and massages. Head and massages, head and massages, head and massages. I live for him. Especially when I want a relaxing set that I ain't gotta do nothing. Like before I go to sleep, he hits me right on time. How many do you keep in rotation? I've been dealing with the same. I ain't messed with the light skinned boy in years. The one that got fat, I ain't messed with him in years. I blocked him. Um, so he's not. I haven't messed with him. Um, let me think. My friend Pat, I've been messing with him since 2012. We just have too much good sexual chemistry. We always be on point. It's never a bad time with him. He's perfect. I got my older dude. He's like 49, 50, a little older than me. We perfect too. Um, what happened with Eric? Who's Eric? Are you talking about the Love Beneath Eric? That is so old, baby. I haven't. That's high school. Nothing happened with him. That's high school. Um, so Pat, Ken, Ken is my older dude. He perfect too. He's like almost not over 10, but a little bit almost 10 years older than me, and he's just a reformed ass hood nigga. I thought he died. I thought who died? Eric? No, Eric did not. He is still alive. No, where did you get that he died? No, he is still alive. He is still alive. Oh, that's a different Eric. Oh, there's an Eric that I went to high school with from the Love Beneath Stories Eric, and then there's Eric Nalechi. Yes, he did die. There's a video called "In Memory of Eric Nalechi." That's two total different Erics. So there's my high school boyfriend Eric, and then that's that Eric. He did die. He died in a bicycle accident. Yes. So Eric in high school, total different than Eric Nalechi. Eric Nalechi, he is just a fling that I had when I first came to Houston that turned into drama. Yeah, he died in a car accident, in a bicycle accident. Yeah, two different Erics. Who else? That's all I'm having now. Ken, Pat, and Brian. So I have three on my roster right now. So I don't really have any new people. Unless when I travel, I hook up with new people. When I travel, just to hook up and have fun. Like I went to Dallas yesterday um, on Wednesday, and I've been there until Friday. And so I hooked up with somebody. He was fine. Boy, he was fine. And he just wanted to give me some head. But yeah, locally, it's like three right now. But I could do a four. I think four is my favorite. I don't have nobody right now that's giving up no good buns. I haven't found nobody that I like topping. The short light skin was my favorite to top because he just had a big old booty. He just was good. Trini Bean 13 hard pass. What are you hard passing? I'm glad you watched it. How did you like it? Yeah, it's a sad story. It's just wild and crazy. Definitely a sad story. Well, make sure y'all thumbs up. I am going to Palm Springs in the morning for work. And so I will see y'all when I get back. Um, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna talk about next Friday, but we'll figure it out. Mhm. Yeah. Hopefully it's not super blazing hot, but we'll see. All right, y'all. Thumbs up. I will talk to y'all next. Bye bye.